Hello, my name is Ashley, and today I want to talk to you all about Firebolt Pose. Now, this is a really common posture that you've probably seen before, you've probably practiced it before, and you most likely heard it called chair pose. Now, the Sanskrit for chair pose, as it's commonly called, is Utkatasana, and the translation for Utkatasana is firebolt. Here's the reason why I don't like calling this particular posture chair pose. Even though the pose looks like you're sitting down into a chair, when you hold the posture, you're essentially in a squat. And the longer you hold a squat, the more burning you're going to feel in your thighs. It does not feel like you're sitting in a chair. It's not even particularly relaxing. It's my favorite pose to hate because you work really hard in Firebolt Pose. So I like calling it Firebolt because I think that more accurately describes what you might be feeling in your body while you're doing it. So let's break it down. There are a few different feet positions that you could experiment with in your Firebolt Pose. Commonly, people tell you to have your feet together to touch. And so you can try that, but that's a really narrow stance. You could also try having your feet about hip distance apart, a little bit of space in between the feet. That's what I prefer, but you could even take a wider stance, wider than the hips. There's no one right way. There's only the right way for you. So try them all and see what feels best in your body, and then keep practicing. Commit to one version and see over time as you practice that way if it feels better and you see progress. You could also switch it up and try different things to challenge your muscles in different ways. I'm going to do the posture with my feet about hip distance apart. Now, what I want you to do is bring weight back into your heels. So you could even lift your toes up off the ground. And in fact, you could practice this keeping the toes lifted the whole time. But if you struggle with balance, keeping the toes down might help you a little bit more with the balance aspect. Just make sure that you're not bringing the weight super far forward into the front of your feet. So weight shifts back a little. Then I want you to start sitting like you're sitting into that chair behind you, keeping the knees about over the ankles. So try not to have the knees go too far forward over the toes. This keeps the weight coming back, and it's going to make sure that you're really feeling this in the thighs, those quadricep muscles. Sit your butt low as you can go, as low of a chair as you can sit in, and then think about keeping your spine really long and your chest lifted, your heart open. There's a lot of different things you can do here with your hands. You could keep your hands at your hips. You could bring your hands together at heart center. You could reach your arms up overhead. Just make sure that your shoulders are relaxed and you're not creating earrings with your shoulders. We don't need to be reaching away here. Even a little bend in the elbows can be nice to ensure that the shoulders stay relatively relaxed. And then most importantly, because it's yoga, we breathe. So feel like you're breathing into the rib cage, expanding into the ribs. It's going to be harder to take those deep belly breaths, and you're going to feel your thighs working here. I'm feeling that burn. Weight continues to come into my heels. I could lift up my toes here if I wanted. And from this Utkatasana, there are so many things that we can do. So stand up, come out of it. We can pulse in and out of our Utkatasana. Essentially, it's like we're doing a set of squats. So you can inhale, reach the arms up overhead, and then exhale, sit yourself low. And then inhale, stand up tall, and exhale, sit yourself low. And each time, maybe you can challenge yourself to go a little bit deeper. Just make sure that you keep that spine long and that heart open, and then you're not collapsing in the upper body. Because we're creating kind of that shape of a firebolt, a lightning rod with the body. So you could do the pulsing. From this position, you can also work the hips and challenge your balance. Figure 4 is a common hip stretch. You bring weight into one foot, place the left foot over the right thigh, and sit the hips low. You're going to get a great stretch into your left hip. Then you can set the foot down and do the same thing on the other side. And you're really strengthening that one side, that one thigh that's taking all of the weight of the body. You could try and sit even lower. All right, and of course, if you need to use a wall or a chair, a piece of furniture to help you with your balance on that, feel free to use that. The other thing that you can do from here is move into another balancing posture. Airplane. Step one leg back behind you and see if you can bring your body parallel to the ground. That's one. sit low. The lower you are to the ground, the easier it's going to be for you in your sense of balance. So getting to an airplane from here is a little bit easier than starting higher up. And then the next common place that you can go from a firebolt posture is eagle. And this one's really great because it's going to give you a shoulder stretch too. So you can sink low into your firebolt and then wrap your arms. Left arm comes underneath right, cross at the elbows and wrap the hands around. And if that's way too complicated and isn't working for you, just give yourself a big old bear hug. That, or you can add in the legs, bringing weight over into one foot, crossing the other leg over. Use the toes as a kickstand, or if you really want, you can wrap your foot around and then you're wobbling. This isn't a posture tutorial on eagle, so we'll get there another time. But just to say that from firebolt, this really strong, wonderful foundational position, there are so many places that you can go. So once you get that firebolt down, you've got so many options for where you can go from there. It's really fun. It's a great posture for strengthening the legs, the hips. It can help build cardiovascular strength if you're pulsing in and out, really breathing, really building that strength in that muscle in the legs, especially if you flow into a bunch of different postures from there. So the possibilities are endless, but you just want to make sure that you're really strong and confident in your firebolt and that you are getting the qualities of the firebolt and not the qualities of the chair. While yoga is relaxing and restful in many ways, there are postures that are challenging too, and we need the balance of both. So I challenge you to revisit your firebolts, bring the energy of that firebolt into your chair poses. Let's discard the chair and just keep calling it firebolt and energize your practice. I hope that you found this helpful. If you're interested in learning about other yoga postures, practicing yoga flows, check out the other videos here on my YouTube channel. Subscribe to be updated every time I post a new video. And if you want your own library of videos to practice at any time, full flows, check out my online yoga studio, Yoga Mom, at ashleyzuberi.offeringtree.com. There's a link in the description below. I hope to see you on the mat again soon.